He is here. He is here. He is here. Ooh, ooh, There comes a time that you have to learn how to inspire yourself, give hope to yourself, give joy to yourself, speak to yourself, preach to yourself, lay hands on yourself, bless yourself. You got to learn how to encourage yourself in the Lord, your God. Somebody lift your hands and say, hey.
Jesus is my Easter bunny. My Easter bunny. Jesus is my Easter bunny. Jesus is my Easter bunny. Jesus is. Jesus is. Jesus is.
Ain't God good? Ain't he good? Ain't God good? He's like Campbell soup. He's good. My God is like Campbell soup. He's like Campbell soup. As long, my sister, I know you've been reading the Bible, but as long as we say lay it up, the wicked going to keep it. But God says it's time for us to tell that money, you don't belong to the wicked, you belong to us. And I want you to get in the right place. Money coming to me now. Somebody help me dance up here. Glory to God.
Hey, shalom. Shalom, shalom. What's going on, family? How's everybody doing? Welcome to another Lines of Israel class. It's your brother, Priest Danyaahla, representing Lines of Israel Maccabeestv. What's going on, everybody? How's everybody doing? Hopefully everybody's doing well. 1 second. I'm trying to launch a clubhouse room real quick, so just bear with me 1 second. I forgot to do. I'm running a little bit behind schedule. You know what I'm saying? But it's all good. All good, all good, all good. All praise to the Most High. While I'm doing that, brothers and sisters, of course, you guys can definitely hit the like button, right? Let's trigger the algorithm so people can know we're live. For a while, I was going live at 10:30, but as of late, I started at 10 o'clock only because I wanted to make sure that I finished my class in time to pass the baton on to Brother Corey and Brother Mal. So that's why I've been getting started a little bit earlier. Okay. I'm just going to ping a couple of my brothers in the room. Okay. Once again, giving all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, in the name of his only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Welcome to another edition of Lions of Israel, as I said, our Sabbath class. So let's just run down the gamut, the list real quick before we get started. Okay. Number one, I want to say peace and blessings to everybody that's watching on Maccabeestv. 1 second, let me just bring Zakaria up and moderate him. Okay. All right, really quickly. All right, good. Right, so once again, Zakaria, I just moderated you, so you got it from here. Once again, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, in the name of his only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai. I want to shout out everybody that's watching on the Lions of Israel class page. You are where you're supposed to be. Shout out to everybody that's watching on Maccabeestv. I've been, telling you guys I'm not going to do the Sabbath classes here, but I still feel like when it's something important that I want to share with as many people as I can, I will come over here, but it won't be consistent like it is on the other channel every week. I want that to be clear, right? You guys need to hit the like button. If you're in here watching, hit the like button, share on your social media. Of course, shout out to everybody that's listening on Clubhouse. These presentations, of course, are highly visual, especially the second one I'm going to do is going to be highly visual. So at any time you guys would like to see what it is I'm presenting, you guys can feel free to click the link at the top of the room, right? And you guys can follow along with the video on YouTube if you so choose. No problem. Also, if there's any audio issues on Clubhouse, the same is true. Click the link at the top of the room. Come on over to YouTube, and you guys can watch the video for yourselves, okay? So without further ado, right, I'm going to go right into the presentation. I'm hoping that there's no technical difficulties, of course, but if there is, you guys just bear with me, okay? I know you guys have grown somewhat wary of this whole situation with Kyrie Irving, right? So I'm going to touch on it a little bit, brothers and sisters, but I'm not going to touch on it quite in the way that everybody else touched on it, so that it's still a little bit fresh, but we have to continue to talk about it. By the way, shout out to everybody that's watching on the Saya TV as well. I never forget that brother and the great works that brother's doing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to go ahead and share the full screen. That usually gives me the least amount of resistance, okay? And we're going to come right over to our presentation, and we're going to get started. Now, I didn't really put this presentation together professionally the way I normally do, brothers and sisters. It was just something I put together to be consistent with you, brothers and sisters, in terms of just doing PowerPoints, right? Visual lessons. Everybody likes the way the presentations are. It makes it a lot easier for you, brothers and sisters, to digest. So that's why I just want to continue on that path. But I didn't really put a lot of effort into this PowerPoint. So if it looks a little cheesy, that's okay. That's all right. All right. So let's get right down into it. So the name of the presentation is called The Red Pill, Sweet in the Mouth, but Bitter in the Stomach, right? Everybody remembers the red pill and the blue pill from the movie The Matrix. We're going to get into that in a second. The red pill is sweet in the mouth, but bitter in the stomach. The proverbial red pill is what most of us that are listening within the sound of my voice, that's what we took. Where those rose-colored glasses come off and you see everything exactly for what it is. The problem with that is that temporary euphoria goes away really quickly when you come to the reality of what knowing what you know really is. And when you see the conditions of your people and they can't see what you see, it becomes bitter. It becomes bitter, right? And the oppression that you receive from the world, the hatred, it becomes bitter. Let's get into it. Now, what I want to do is I want to play this interview. You guys probably have seen this interview already. I'm not going to play the whole interview. The interview is like 10 minutes. But there's one particular portion of this interview that I kind of wanted to focus on because he said something that kind of struck and caught my attention. And I see other people talking about it as well, but it definitely caught my attention. So let's go ahead and let's watch the video just a little bit. Like I said, not too much on the video. We've already seen the video probably 100 times, but I just want to point out something that he says, actually a few things that he says I want to point out, and I want to kind of show you, brothers and sisters, a few things. And this is where my lesson is going to kind of deviate from what everybody else is talking about. Once again, if you're on Clubhouse, if there's audio issues, the link is at the top of the room. Click over and come to YouTube. If you can't hear, If you want to see what I'm showing, click over and come over to YouTube as well. All right. So let's go ahead and let's get started.
I went on the Amazon Prime. I was like, you know what? Let me see if there are any documentaries on Yahweh. So
now, for those that don't know, and a brother brought it out yesterday, but the brother Ron Dalton, who this whole hullabaloo is about him in this movie, right? For those of y'all that don't know, it's a lot of us in this movie. I'm in this movie. Hashar is in this movie. Zion Lex is in this movie. I believe Zabak is in the movie. Gorilla Hebrew is in the movie. Tazariak is in the movie. We're all in there. We're all in there, just so you guys know, right? So this brother has seen all of us in this movie, right? So he was searching Amazon for whatever his reasons was, and he came across the movie. The brother came in the room yesterday, and Ron Dalton made a video yesterday explaining the process of how you get on Amazon. You don't just get on, just submit your movie and they put it on there. That's a lie. Somebody actually sits down. First of all, they give you a whole bunch of criteria. I'm going to give you guys a 10-second breakdown of what Ron did in like an hour video on his Instagram. If y'all want to go watch it, you can go watch it, where he explains the process that he took to get the movie on Amazon to begin with, right? There's a process you have to go through, and they ask you if the movie's anti-Semitic, right? Now, you could say no, but guess what? Before the movie is actually posted on their website, guess what? Somebody at Amazon watches the movie. Did you guys know that? Did you guys know that? Somebody actually sits down and watches the movie, and they have to greenlight it. They can either greenlight it, they can send it back to you and tell you to make some corrections, or they can reject it. So whomever at Amazon received this movie greenlighted the movie. They didn't see nothing anti-Semitic about the movie. I just want you guys to understand that. Okay, that's how it got there. If you want more information on that, like I said, go to Ron Dalton's Instagram. He did a video where he gives you like an hour-long video explaining to you the tedious process, which I didn't even know that was a process. There's a tedious process that goes into having your movie placed on Amazon. You don't just send it in and they're like, oh, great, okay, yeah. No, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. But the media is glossing over all that. They're glossing over all that. They're glossing over the fact that Jeff Bezos has it on his website. They're glossing over the fact that he's profiting from it. And they're glossing over the fact that somebody at Amazon actually watched it and greenlighted it. They're glossing over all of that and blaming it all on his brother, right? Let's be clear. Let's keep going. Let's keep going.
In the search bar, typed in Yahweh. That came up. Went out and shared it on my platform. That was my night. In terms of the backlash, or what people call it, we're in 2022. History is not supposed to be hidden from anybody. And I'm not. So another very important thing that he said, you got to catch the jewels as he's dropping them, because he can't speak as forthcoming this weekend. He said it's 2022. History's not supposed to be hidden. What is he implying, brothers and sisters? Somebody been hiding some history. Somebody been lying. That's what he's implying, right? But he's putting it in a nice package where it can be digested by the mainstream media and the mainstream, because everybody's not ready for people that talk like me. Let's go. A divisive person when it comes to religion. I embrace all walks of life. You see it on all my platforms. I talk to all races, all cultures, all religions, and my response would be, it's not about educating yourself on what Semitism is and what anti-Semitism is. It's really about learning the root words of where
yeah, we got to watch that again. We got to go back. It's not about educating yourself on what Semitism is or is not. In other words, what the media wants to tell you. Because the media they're using the word educate you on what anti-Semitism is. What the media really is trying to do, brothers and sisters, they're trying to program you. Because it takes a simple Google search. I've seen it all over social media. Everybody's been sharing it. It takes a simple Google search to find out what somebody that's Semitic is, what it is and what it is not. But they don't want you to go by the definition. See, you should go by the definition of everything else. See, Webster is right about everything else, right? Dictionary.com is right about everything else. But when it comes to the word Semitic, now we should not listen to the dictionary. Now we should listen to you, right? We don't listen to the word or the root word. Don't worry about that. Listen to me. This is what the media is saying. Pay attention, right? Pay attention. This brother's dropping it, man.
So, on what Semitism is and what anti-Semitism is. It's really about learning the root words of where these come from and understanding that this is an African heritage that is also belonging to the people.
So when he says an African heritage, for lack of a better word, right, he's talking about our people, black people. That you have Hebrews, Israelites on what's known as the continent of Africa, which, by the way, before the I believe it's the Suez Canal was that man-made canal was created. The Middle East, or what's called the Levant, was originally a part of Africa. Today, right? They try to stratify the continent and say, well, no, the Middle East is really part of Asia. It's Eurasia. No, it was a part of Africa before, right? Some people say that it sits on the African tectonic plate. So it was a part of Africa at one time. That's why we were so freely able to go back and forth between the land of Israel and the land of Egypt. You see that all throughout the scriptures. The first place that Yahushai's parents went was Egypt. It was very accessible to us. Let's keep going.
Africa is in it, whether we want to dismiss it or not. So,
and they want to dismiss it. When he's saying Africa is in it, he's saying black people are Semitic. That's what he's saying. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows that. So let's keep going.
The claims of anti-Semitism and who are the original chosen people of God, and we go into these religious conversations, and it's a big no-no. I don't live my life. And I say a melting pot of all races, white, black, red, Jewish, Christian, Muslim, and you can see the way I live my life now. I'm not here to be divisive, so they could push their, I don't want to say they, because I'm not.
He caught himself. Did y'all catch that? He caught himself. He said they could push their, and he stops. The brother knows more. This is one thing, this is one problem that we do have with the brother, and this is why, there's no disrespect, why celebrities should not be a mouthpiece, but it's true. Because the brother still has to kind of watch what he's saying. He can't give away too much. He can't freely speak his mind. That's why he caught himself and had to pull it back real fast. I'm glad he did. He knows a lot more than what he's saying, which is why Max Kellerman yesterday on a show on ESPN was saying that people are going to want to probe Kyrie, and the more that you probe him is the more he's going to say stuff that you guys ain't going to like. But celebrities are not supposed to be the mouthpiece anyway. I mean, we've said this a million times. What they should be doing is they should be using a proxy of some sort to position teachers to be the mouthpiece. Position teachers to go on mainstream media, radio shows, whatever it is. You position people that can say what needs to be said because you cannot. You got too much to lose. That's the point. So watch again. He was about to say that they have an agenda, but he caught himself because that would have opened up a whole nother Pandora's box. I'm glad he caught himself. Pay attention again. Listen.
All races, white, black, red, yellow, Jewish, Christian, Muslim, and you can see the way I live my life now. I'm not here to be divisive, so they could push their agenda. I don't want to say they, because I'm not identifying any one group or race of people, but I'm in a unique position to have a level of influence on my community. And what I post does not mean that I support everything that's being said or everything that's being done, or I'm campaigning for anything. All I do is post things for my people in my community and those that it's actually going to impact. Anybody else that has criticism, it obviously wasn't meant for them.
Hopefully I'm understanding what you said, and I want to make sure I get it right because I don't want to misquote any part of it.
I don't expect understanding from a media conglomerate group that sincerely talks about the game of basketball, and then we bring up religion as if it's correlative at times when it's convenient for people to bring it up. So please just be direct with your question so we can move on from this and I can talk about the game and go home to my son Elohim and my wife Marlene, okay?
He named his daughter Elohim, or as we say Elohim, which means the powers. That's a Hebrew name. Y'all say he don't know something? Come on.
Am I to take it that this was what you shared was not something that you've even watched? This was, you did watch it, or either watch it or read it.
I had a lot of time to read a lot. Read a whole bunch.
Good
and bad about the truth of our world.
Okay, I want to play that.
So
that's the crux, and we're going to end the video right there. That's the crux of what I wanted. You hear what he said? He said, I had a lot of time. Remember, he was out because of the jab protocol. He was out. He said, I had a lot of time to read. And the more he read, I'm paraphrasing, is the more he found out about the good and the bad of the world, a.k.a. the agenda that he wasn't able to say. Let's listen to that one more time.
Am I to take it that this was what you shared was not something that you've even watched? This was, you did watch it, or either watch it or read it.
I had a lot of time to read a lot. Read a whole bunch. Good and bad about the truth of our world.
Good and bad about the truth of our world. And he been reading and he found out what we've always been saying. And believe me, he's not the only one. He's just the only one that's brave enough to come out and say it publicly, which is cool. Let's go on to the next slide now, right? You guys have already seen this interview. Let's go. So you guys have seen, I'm sure you guys seen this on your Instagram timeline. I'm sure you've seen it on your Facebook timeline. But for anybody that's living under a rock, this is the working definition according to Webster's dictionary of what Semitic is. Let's just read it really quickly for the one or two people that might have been living under a rock. Semitic, of, relating to, or constituting a subfamily of the Afro-Asiatic language family that includes Hebrew, Aramaic, Arabic, and Amharic. So what I want you guys to notice is that Hebrew, Aramaic, Arabic, and Amharic. How did you ever see when they call so-called Arabs anti-Semitic? They cannot be anti-Semitic if they fall into the Semitic family. This is what people are explaining to the mainstream media. This is what Kyrie has been trying to explain to the mainstream media. This is what Kanye West was trying to explain to the mainstream media. And they understand this. The working definition is what's written right there. That's the working definition. Let's go to the next slide. Now, when you look at a map, you guys can actually look at a map and actually see the extent on a map of how far the Afro-Asiatic language family extends across both the Middle East and Africa. The Afro-Asiatic language family extends all the way to Northwest Africa. Look at the map. So how in the blue blazes are some people that wear those little tiny hats on top of their heads that look like A-cup bras, right? You got an A-cup bra, one half of an A-cup bra on top of your head, and you're going to tell us that you are the only Semites. You sound stupid. And your dictionary doesn't agree with you. But you don't give a damn about the dictionary no more. It's all about you programming people. That's what it's about. There is an agenda to program people. So you don't care what the dictionary says. We're supposed to listen to you because you said. That's what's going on, family. Let's go to the next slide. Now, I want to go in a little time capsule and I want to take it back. I want to show you guys something. Let's put the pieces of the puzzle together. How many of you brothers and sisters remember this? Remember this, right? This is December 10th, 2019. The Jersey City shooting. Everybody heard about that. Even if you're not from the Northeast, you heard about the Jersey City shooting on December 10th. I'm going to say it again. On December 10th, let that date marinate in your mind. On December 10th, 2019, a shooting took place at a kosher grocery store in the Greenville section of Jersey City on December 10th, 2019. You guys remember they tried to pin that on the Israelites? Now, I'm not going to go into that now, but I do have all the newspaper articles that came out at that time, should I ever have to pull them out the archives. The newspapers came back days. First, they tried to pin it on the Israelites, right? If you're not from the New York area, you probably don't know this because I still even hear Israelites saying this. The newspapers had to come back and retract that story because it just wasn't true. I have the articles. The newspapers were coming out days later saying that these people really had no links to the Israelites whatsoever. I got the articles. I got them. But we're not talking about that today. So on December 10th, 2019, there was a shooting in Jersey City at a kosher grocery store in Greenville section of Jersey City. December 10th. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Bang. How many of you guys know what happened the next day? It went under the radar. I've been talking about this on Clubhouse, for the last 2 weeks, but now I'm going to show it to you, brothers and sisters in class. Remember this guy, Donald Trump? The very next day, Donald Trump signed and issued an executive order. Let's go and let's look at it. Let's come out the PowerPoint, all right? Hopefully my audio won't mess up. And we're going to come over here and we're going to look at it. Let's look at it. How many brothers and sisters were aware that there's an executive order on combating anti-Semitism? Issued on what date, y'all? What date is that? December 11th, 2019. What day was the shooting? December 10th. What day was the executive order? The next day. Okay. Now let's go down and let's read a little bit about this executive order. It's very wordy. It's a little boring. And by the way, I went over this actually when it came out in December 2019. I did this on Maccabeestv, but some people back then weren't subscribed. You never saw it. You're not aware that this exists. So we have to make understanding. We're going somewhere with this. What I'm showing you is we already saw what the dictionary says about anti-Semitism. I'm going to show you, brothers and sisters, where the shift came in. It came in right here. Right here. The shift comes in here because the president at the time issued an executive order saying that the small hats, their definition of anti-Semitism supersedes what's in the dictionary. What y'all thought it was just random that they're just on the news saying, well, we need to educate you about what anti-Semitism is? No. The framework for their change and what the definition is was put in place by Donald Trump in 2019. And now you have celebrities like Kyrie Irving with 4 million Instagram, Twitter followers. Kanye West with what, 30-something million? That are pushing not the whole Israelite agenda. We can't get lost in that. But they're pushing that we're Jews. Just that part. That's the alley-oop we needed. That's it. They're pushing that, right? So now you have a large mass of people that are hearing it. I was on Clubhouse yesterday in a room, and there was a sister that came on a stage on Clubhouse yesterday, and she said that she had heard about this Israelite stuff from her mother when she was a girl, and she didn't really acknowledge it or deal with it. Listen, she didn't acknowledge it or deal with it. Then when she saw Kyrie Irving say what he said, that made her go back and look into it, and she said the truth is undeniable. That's why, see, people are like, oh, well, Kyrie Irving, he didn't come all the way. Your vision is too small. It's too narrow. You don't understand how the Lord is moving. A lot of our people are plugged into the matrix. They look at these celebrities like gods. So the Most High it's going to take the Most High to make some of them acknowledge, to give validity to what we're saying, to move some of our people. Some of the elect is among the people that are plugged into the matrix right now. And so the Most High is using somebody like that to say that one thing. Let's just say, because we had a conversation about this yesterday on Clubhouse. It was a great conversation. Let's just say next week he says that he's a Buddhist. Let's just say next week Kyrie says he's a Buddhist. I don't want to say it doesn't matter. But he did what he needed to do to bring attention to our movement. And who this truth is for, the Most High is going to bring them in. That's the point with him and Kanye and Nick Cannon and all the rest that are saying what they're saying. The Most High is using them for a purpose, but they're ultimately not the vessels that the Most High wants to push this truth forward with. His teachers are. Let's read this executive order. Remember, let's go back because I just went on a whole tirade, right? You went on a whole tirade. So let's go back to the PowerPoint first really quickly. Let's go back one slide and let's bring back the thought. My bad. I started preaching, right? Should have had a collection place. I could have put some money in there. Anyway, all right. So this is 2019, December 10th. You guys see that, right? 2019, December 10th. That is the Jersey City shooting. Okay, so now we brought the thought back. Now let's come back to the executive order, and we see this executive order was issued the next day. Okay, let's go ahead and let's read it. By the authority vested in me as president by the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America, it is hereby ordered as follows. Section 1, my administration is committed to combating the rise of anti-Semitism and anti-Semitic incidents in the United States and around the world. Anti-Semitic incidents have increased since 2013, and students in particular continue to face anti-Semitic harassment in school and on university and college campuses, right? Title 6 of the Civil Rights Act. So the Civil Rights Act that Judah, mainly, your foreparents marched for, had water hoses sicked on them for, dogs sicked on them for, water hoses sprayed on them for, dogs sicked on them for, died for, now it's being used for somebody other than you. Isn't that interesting? Let's go. Title 6 of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. All right, 42 USC 2000D ETE SEQ. That's just how it's filed. If you ever want to go look it up, that's how it's filed. Prohibits discrimination on the basis of race, color, and national origin in programs, activities, receiving federal financial institution. This is important because what they're going to be able to do as we continue on, what they're going to be able to do is they're going to be able to pull funding from any organization that gets the title of anti-Semitic on them. If somebody accuses, let's say the ADL or some other organization accuses a company, an organization of being anti-Semitic, and that company is receiving federal fundings, it can be pulled. And it doesn't have to be true that these people are pushing anti-Semitism. All the small hats have to do is just say it. That's it. Let's keep reading. While Title IV does not cover discrimination based on religion, right? Individuals who face discrimination on the basis of race, color, or national origin do not lose protection under Title VI, for as being a member of a group shares common religious practices. Discriminations against Jews may give rise to Title VI violation when the discrimination is based on an individual's race, color, or national origin, right? It shall be the policy of the executive branch to enforce Title VI against prohibited forms of discrimination rooted in anti-Semitism as vigorously as against all other forms of discrimination. So I want you guys to look and say that the executive branch plans to enforce this stuff. It's important. Let's keep reading. Section 2. We're not going to do too much reading. I know it's a lot of reading. We're just going to read a part of Section 2 and then we're done. Okay. Section 2. Ensuring robust enforcement of Title VI. So they want to ensure robust enforcement. This is what you guys are seeing now. We don't know what threats were made against the Nets behind the scenes. We don't know what deals that they might have that might tie into federal money. We don't know what's going on, right? That threats were made. If they didn't suspend him and do what they did, they could have lost a lot. Remember, these guys have ties with the city, the state, for that arena. I don't know. Maybe somebody knows. You can put in the chat. I don't know. But trust me, threats were made, right? That's why the hammer came down. Let's keep reading though. Section A. In enforcing Title VI and identifying evidence of discrimination based on race, color, or national origin, all executive departments and agencies charged with enforcing Title VI shall consider the following. Now we are where we want to be, right here. I want you guys to pay attention. This is what I've been talking about on Clubhouse. Section 2, Part 1. Check it out. The non-legally binding definition of anti-Semitism adopted on May 26, 2016 by the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance, right? So what I want you guys to understand is that when the federal government, according to the executive order, decides to enforce their rules on anti-Semitism, it will not be based on the definition in the dictionary. It's not. I need y'all to understand that. When you see Kyrie and Kanye saying, but the word anti-Semitism doesn't mean this, it doesn't mean that, you're right. They don't care. They don't care. Your president, Donald Trump, said, to hell with the dictionary. The definition of anti-Semitism is what these guys say it is. The International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance. Whatever they say it is, that's what it is. Not your dictionary. This is why you see the folks on TV talking about they want to sit down and have a meeting with Kyrie so they can educate him. When they say educate him, brothers and sisters, they mean program him. Program him to embrace their definition of what anti-Semitism is, even if it doesn't match what's in the dictionary. They don't give a damn about the dictionary. Just like when the whole thing with the jab came, they didn't give a damn about established science. There's something called herd immunity, meaning when a certain level of a population is vaccinated, there's no need for the entire population to be vaccinated because you reach herd immunity, which I believe is about 70%, give or take. They said to hell with that damn science. Everybody got to get the jab. That's what they did. They're doing the same thing with this definition. It's the same thing. The same thing. Let's keep reading so we can move on. All right. So it says the non-legally binding working definition of anti-Semitism adopted on May 26, 2016 by the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance, which states anti-Semitism is a certain perception of Jews. Right there. Right there. So their definition of anti-Semitism is perception, whatever they perceive. So if they don't like the fact that you say, if they don't like the fact that anybody coming to the stage on Clubhouse, if I see hands being raised, Zakaria, bring them up, but make sure they stay on mute. That's why when you see somebody will say, well, you know, man, you had a lot of so-called small hats that were slave owners, like in Brazil. A lot of them. A lot of those slave owners in Brazil with small hats. They perceive that as anti-Semitic. Not because it's not true, but they perceive it as anti-Semitic. Well, the government says it is then because they say so. Did you guys know that the vice president of the Confederate States, remember when the United States had a so-called Civil War? And you had the North and the South, the Union and the Confederacy? The Confederate president was Jefferson Davis. Did you guys know that the vice president was a small hat? Let's get his name real quick. I always forget his name. Let's get his name real quick. So I can introduce you to him. He's a small hat. Yeah, he was fighting to keep slavery going. Yes, that's right. Let's get it. That's considered anti-Semitism. There we go. This guy right here. Alex H. Stevens. This guy is a small hat. Okay. But to say this is considered anti-Semitic. You're not supposed to say it because they perceive it as anti-Semitic. And the list goes on and on and on. So to make a long story short, so I don't have to continue to beat a dead horse, I think that everybody understands what it is I'm saying. You guys can stop questioning why they're trying to change the definition. They're trying to change the definition because their president, Donald Trump, signed an executive order saying that they can. So they don't bring them your dictionary. They don't care about your dictionary. I mean, we're still going to bring them a dictionary, but I need you guys to understand what's happening. And it's going to get worse. And they're going to start enforcing this stuff. You know, I just want you guys to understand that. Let's come back to the PowerPoint. Let's go to, you know what? I'm not even going to go back to the PowerPoint. I'm going to go to the next tab right here. Well, brothers and sisters, that was 2019. Well, let's look at November the 2nd, 2022. Let's bring it up to modern times. Los Angeles City Council endorses leading definition of anti-Semitism. Do you guys see this? Los Angeles City Council endorses leading definition of anti-Semitism. Who in the sound of my voice thinks that their definition of anti-Semitism is based on the dictionary? Who thinks that? If you think that, you're dead wrong. Guess. I want you guys to guess. Guess what definition the Los Angeles City Council is using to say this is what anti-Semitism is. Guess. Y'all want to guess? You don't know? You stumped? You stuck? Let me help you out. Let's come right here. This is crazy, right? The Los Angeles City Council on Tuesday passed a resolution endorsing the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance's definition of anti-Semitism. Do you guys see that? Do you see it? I don't want the whole thing. I just want to highlight it. Do you guys see that right there? What date is this? This is November the 2nd, 2022. Why would they do that? Why would the Los Angeles City Council do that? Because Donald Trump, 3 years before, in 2019, said, right? What he said? He said that they're going to embrace that definition. I'm going too fast. Here it is, right here. Here it is. See it? Right there. So they came out with this definition, this organization, they came out with their definition in 2016, right? In 2019, Donald Trump said, we're going to use that. We're going to enforce their definition. And then in 2022, the Los Angeles City Council passes a resolution using their definition. Do you guys see that? That's where we're going. This is where we're going. It doesn't matter how many definitions we pull out, how many books we pull out. They don't care. Understand that. Okay. I think you guys get the point. So we can come back to the PowerPoint now. All right. We're going to pick it up where we left off. So I already went over that. Okay. Now, I'm going to start this video at 1:45. And we're just going to play a little bit of the video. Not too much on the video. Not too much on the video. Let's start at 1:45. Okay. That's good enough.
That 300 million of my ancestors are buried in, figuring out that Where were you when I was a kid, figuring out that 300 million of my ancestors are buried in America? Where were you guys asking those same questions when I was a kid learning about the traumatic events of my familial history?
And let's help our brother out. And some of the people, some of that quote unquote 300 million. Now let's be clear, brothers and sisters. There's no accurate primary documents that we can use to actually there's no primary document that can definitely count it was 300 million, but it was hundreds of millions of people, right? Between the blacks, the Native Americans, North, Central, and South, etc. It was hundreds of millions of people. And what we have to understand is that some of those people that were involved wore small hats, especially when you go to places like Brazil. But even here in the Americas, in the South, some of the slave plantation owners were small hats. That is a fact. The insurance companies that insured the boats, et cetera, some of them were small hats. But to say that is anti-Semitic. Why? Because that organization says it is. Let's keep going.
And what I'm proud to come from, and why I'm proud to stand here, and why when I repeat myself that I'm not going to stand down, it has nothing to do with dismissing any other race or group of people. I'm just proud of my heritage and what we've been through. And the fact that this has pinned me against the Jewish community. And I'm here answering questions of whether or not I'm sorry or not on something I didn't create. And it was something I shared. And I'm telling everybody I'm taking responsibility. Then that's where I sit. So, these same questions that you guys ask, me dealing with it as being a melanated, pigmented person all around the world and dealing with racial biases against my skin color, demeaning me because of my religious beliefs, and I'm still sitting in the seat standing. So I take my full responsibility. Again, I'll repeat it, for posting something on my Instagram or Twitter that may have had some unfortunate falsehoods in it. But I also am a human being that's 30 years old, and I've been growing up in a country that's told me that I wasn't worth anything, and I came from a slave class, and I come from a people that are meant to be treated the way we get treated every day. So I'm not here to compare anyone's atrocities or tragic events that their families have dealt with generations of time. I'm just here to continue to expose things that our world continues to put in darkness.
Put in darkness meaning they're hiding stuff. See, what he has to do is he can't talk like we talk. So he's saying a lot without saying a lot. We recognize it. And guess what? The media recognizes it too. This dude knows something. That's why they're doing him how they're doing him.
I'm a light. I'm a beacon of light. That's what I'm here to do. You guys ask me questions about basketball, I give you my expert opinion. You guys ask me about other things, I give you my opinion, and it's met with whatever you believe the perception or the deception is. You guys investigate my life every day, and you justify it by serving your own purpose, which I honor. I would like the same respect in return, figuring out just like anyone else. So please keep that same energy when we're talking about anti-other things, because just because I post a documentary doesn't mean I'm anti-Semitic, and doesn't mean that I'm automatically standing with everyone that.
And that's the way he's wrong. He said just because he posted a documentary doesn't mean he's anti-Semitic. According to the definition that's in the dictionary, no. But according to the definition that the United States is using, they say you are. That's the difference. Their definition is fluid. It's perceived. They can say that you're anti-Semitic for wearing that black hat you have on. It's perceived. Let's keep going.
Is believing in that. So it's unfortunate timing that we're in, but I'm glad that I could stand on the truth, because I'm not afraid of these mics, these cameras. I used to be looking everyone in the eye and telling them the truth, and I'm proud of who I am. Any label that you put on me, I'm able to dismiss because I study. I know the Oxford Dictionary.
Did you hear that? Oh, this is the crux. He said, any label you put on me, I could dismiss that because I study. I know the Oxford Dictionary. Listen again.
Everyone in the eye and telling them the truth, and I'm proud of who I am. Any label that you put on me, I'm able to dismiss because I study. I know the Oxford Dictionary. You look it up, right? One of the biggest mistakes I had in being a kid was not knowing European or Western language until I started looking it up and understanding the definitions and why they say, if you want to trick a black person, put it in a book.
Wow.
I was wondering my whole life why they said that. Now I'm 30 years old and I know reading is a superpower.
Whoa.
Helps me.
Reading is a superpower. Reading is a superpower.
In a developing
Okay, so you guys saw the interview. I'm just gonna move on from that. So the brother been doing a lot of reading, a lot of studying, but the problem is, just to go back, just to be cohesive. The problem is, right? Nope. The problem is, let's come out of here and let's come back here again. That they don't care what you've been reading. They have a new definition that they want to program people with, and you have to accept it and fall in line, or be prepared for the consequences. That's what it is. Let's keep going. I don't want to really belabor this point too much. Let's pick up the point from where I was. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 34, verse 16. Let's get a couple of scriptures. It says, seek ye out of the book of the Lord and read. That's what Kyrie has been doing. He's been reading the Bible, obviously, to know who he is. That's the foundation of everything. But he's also been reading dictionaries and other things and finding out the truth that's been hidden from our people for ages, but now is made manifest through the labors of many, many, many great brothers past and many great brothers present. And we're just like Kyrie, we receive our own persecution for teaching this word every single day. We get on that damn Clubhouse app. The hatred that we receive is ridiculous. We go to camp. The hatred that we receive from our people is ridiculous. But we embrace it because we understand the mission, right? And it seems to me, and I don't know how long, that he, to a degree, right? He's a young man still. He's only 30. He's a young man still, right? So he's going to have some bumps and bruises and some stumbles along the way. But what I was telling brothers yesterday, this is my opinion. I believe that we need to support the brother as much as we can, even if we don't agree with everything. Like, for instance, I'll give you a perfect example, right? Like I said, I'm in that Hebrews to Negroes documentary. Do I believe everything that Ron Dalton teaches? Of course not. He knows that. He knows that. But he still had us in his documentary anyway, because at the end of the day, he's waking people up to who they are. So that's the reason why all of us agreed to be in there for that reason alone. And so now that this brother found that documentary, it's not time. This is my opinion, because somebody might come back and be mad that I said it. It's not time for me to fight with Ron right now. I'm not fighting with him right now. Behind the scenes, we know we have our differences and stuff, but in public right now, his documentary is leading a lot of people our way, literally our way, right? Because at the end of the day, we're some of the most visible Hebrews because we be on the street. So it's not time to fight with him right now. This brother been reading. All praise to the Most High. Let's go to the next slide, because time is getting away from me now. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 1, verse 3. It says, blessed is he that readeth, and they that hear the words of this prophecy. So this brother is going to be blessed, right? He's going to get 100-fold if he doesn't fall off, if he continues in this thing. It's going to be tough. They're not going to make it easy. They're going to make it very difficult for this brother. So we got to keep his brother in our prayers, man. You know, and Kanye to a degree and everything. And yes, these brothers are going to mess up. And I have to say this real quick. I have to say this. Please, Israel, we're not putting no faith or no hope in these brothers. Like, you know what I'm saying? These brothers are going to be the brothers that are going to be Israelites the way we are, keeping the commandments the way we do. We're not putting faith in these brothers like that. But what we want to do is that while these brothers are going through what they're going through and they're sending attention our way with what they're doing, we need to support them in that manner. That's what I'm saying. Now, we're not putting no hope in them, but support what they're doing, because they're losing a lot for doing what they're doing. They're making a sacrifice. Okay, let's keep going. This is the book of John, chapter 5, verse 39. It says, search the scriptures, for in them ye think ye have eternal life, and they are they which testify of me. So he's been searching the scriptures, trying to find his history, his heritage, and he's found these things, right? So it's all about reading and studying and searching, and those are the words that the brother's using. And that's what's making people mad. Reading, what the brother said, he said, reading is a superpower, right? What we teach is that we don't teach that we're trying to form a military or army, take up arms and try to do anything violent. That's not what we teach. What we're trying to do, brothers and sisters, is we're trying to change our people's mind. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to change minds. How do we change our people's minds? By studying and researching and presenting our people with the same information that we have so they can do the same and change their minds. That's all we're trying to do. And in order to do that, you have to search the scriptures and search your history. And that's what this brother is doing. All right, let's go on. This is the book of Acts chapter 17, verse 11. It says, these were more noble than those in Thessalonica, in that they received the word with all readiness of mind and searched the scriptures daily, whether those things were so. So the brother said he had a lot of time off and he did a lot of reading and he was searching. And what he found was whatever he was looking at besides just that documentary, believe me, I'm sure that brother saw a lot more. I wouldn't be surprised if he sat down and watched some, I'm not saying any of my videos or anything like that, but some of the larger camps, right? You might have seen a couple of their videos, sat down and watched a couple of their classes and stuff like that. And the brother went back and researched what he saw. And what he saw was, wow, these brothers are on point. Just like that sister that was in that room on Clubhouse yesterday. That's what she said. And he's the one that made her aware of it. Her mama told her, but you know, children ain't trying to listen to mom and dad. They want, you know, a lot of times they want to rebel against mom and dad. A lot of times children will purposely go against what mom and dad say. But then you hear a celebrity say what we say. Now you're going to stop and you're going to listen. Let's keep going. Okay. I want to start at 3:14, right? I want to start at 3:14 of this movie real quick. You guys remember The Matrix, right? 3:14. Once you take it, right, everything becomes apparent. You're able to see everything for what it is. The blue pill, you stay in La La Land. And that's kind of the arc of what I was talking about. Now that this brother knows this truth, guess what? He done took the red pill the way we took the red pill. Guess what? You can't unsee what you've seen. There's no way, right? And so now he just has to stand on what it is that he said. He has to stand on it. You can't unsee it. You can't undo it. Listen.
This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill. The story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill. You stay in Wonderland. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
And so Kyrie has seen how deep the rabbit hole goes, and you can't undo it. Once you take the red pill, you can't undo it.
Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
So a lot of the celebrities like Charles Barkley's, right? You know, Charles Barkley's, the Shaquille O'Neal's, guys like that, Shannon Sharp, right? A lot of y'all like Shannon Sharp because he's real what they call folksy. He's funny. But Shannon Sharp is a coon, right? A lot of those guys have taken the blue pill. They know who we are. They know. Matter of fact, as shout out to Ron Dalton again, the Hebrews to Negroes movie was actually premiered in Shaquille O'Neal's movie theater. Shaquille O'Neal owns a movie theater in downtown Newark. When the movie came out, his movie played in Shaquille O'Neal's theater. You know what I'm saying? The same movie that got Kyrie in trouble. And you on, you know, TV, bad mouthing a brother, and that same film played in your theater. That's messed up, yo. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 10, verse 9. It says, and I went unto the angel and said unto him, give me the little book. And he said, take unto me, take it and eat it. And it shall make thy belly bitter, but it shall be sweet in thy mouth. And that's what it is. When you first find out this truth is sweet, right? You first come into your mouth is sweet. But once it goes down into your belly and you begin to digest this truth for what it really is, it's bitter in so many ways. And we know what those ways is. Ecclesiastes in the Apocrypha chapter 2 says, when you come to the Lord, to serve the Lord, prepare your soul for temptation. That whole entire chapter of Sirach chapter 2 tells you, it's a great encapsulation of all the sufferings you have to go through, right? When you come into this truth. Romans chapter 8, verses 1, I believe, through 3, also tells you that if you want to be glorified with Christ, you got to suffer with Christ too. And that's what a lot of people find out, which is why everybody doesn't endure. They come into the truth because it's sweet, but once that bitterness sets in, they can't take it, right? So we have to be prepared for these things that's coming. It's only the beginning, brothers and sisters. It's going to get worse. Now, time is getting away from me, right? I want to go into a little bit of history, right? Once again, I appreciate everybody that's watching. I need for everybody just to, you guys that are on Clubhouse, right? The next portion of the presentation is going to be extremely visual. You probably won't even get half of what I'm saying if you're not looking at it. So if you guys want to come over to YouTube, you guys can come over to YouTube. And I'm going to be doing a quick presentation. I'm going to give you guys on Clubhouse exactly 3 minutes to come over. And I'm going to get this presentation started. All right, I'll be right. Y'all know what it is. Northern Kingdom, Southern Kingdom, one nation on one track. Lions of Israel, Ephraimite begun, and they call me the priest. Southern tribal, my sport is my Bible. I teach survival. I await the Lord's arrival. His mighty entrance to destroy wicked intentions and their inventions. Time for Esau to be sentenced. The scripture mentions in past and future tenses that we are princes. Why is it so hard to convince us of our greatness? Though we in this matrix, if we keep God's laws, we can reach our apex, the highest plateau. I was born to fight these battles and keep the statutes. Who says my sword ain't two-edged? Who says we ain't God's true heirs? Said that. Sometimes I shed a few tears. Sometimes I shed rivers. Y'all forgive us. Please permit us. Yahweh Shai delivers. I'm energized like I run on batteries. I'm Daniel with the lions. I'm Judas, Maccabees. I'm David, versus Goliath. I'm Samson, versus the pillars. Only getting stronger, although they try to kill us. Gorillas. We fight a different type of warfare. It's all love, although we come off austere. It's all love, but life was never all fair. So when times get rough, I say the Lord's Prayer. Abba Nawa, forgive our nation and all the great men, and please destroy the cavemen with no hesitation. It's game over. 12 tribes, time we take over. Yeah.
Hurricane, earthquake, and wildfire. FEMA comes fenced in with barbed wire. We're in the end, no time to get tired. Do what's required. Obey, yeah.
Do it all.
Obey, yeah.
Must obey these laws.
Obey, yeah.
No matter what.
Obey, yeah.
Stand up. Now we the chosen, can see the end is speedily approaching. By the showing of these tokens, we know when the prophecies unfolding. Right before our very eyes, and all your eyes awoken to recognize when Mashiach Yahweh Shai spoken. In the midst of all the commotion, another seal has been broken. The window of grace is closing. Now you watching when every moment you on social media scrolling, commenting on what the next man posting. The baby's lost and he should dwell in safety. As in a land of Goshen, 400 years of slaves was brought across the Atlantic Ocean. Now we turning back to Jerusalem and we praying and hoping for deliverance out the city tenements of Babylon.
Hurricane, earthquake, and wildfire. FEMA comes fenced in with barbed wire. We're in the end, no time to get tired. Do what's required. Obey, yeah. Obey, yeah. Obey, yeah. Obey, yeah.
From a mother's womb, destined to speak these words. Israel, the chosen seed, the nation he prefers. Not to boast or brag, Gentiles, I know they mad, but we just came to claim what we're supposed to have. Honor, riches, diamonds, treasures, glory, kingdom. He showed it to Esdras. Our people walking orderly. Our nation about to rise. Some may have 7 ribs, others 1,000 wives. We have to suffer first. We have to take this cup. We gotta preach the word.
All right. Let's go. Enough of that. Let's go. All right. Oops, I got to share the screen first. That would make sense, wouldn't it? Of course it would, right? Or else I'll be talking to myself. All right, here we go now. All right. Again, we'll just do the full screen. So far, so good. I haven't gotten any text messages that I'm having technical difficulties. All praise to the Most High. All right. So, shout out to the Lions of Israel Academy, right? This was our lesson actually last week in the academy, right? Come there, I got to give them the lessons first. So you guys that's in the academy that's watching, as well as the camp, you guys saw this presentation last week, so you guys got to forgive your brother. But I want to go over this with everybody because this is good stuff, right? To me, this is good information. I want to, show people stuff because we teach things sometimes and we don't know where we get it from. Sometimes you brothers and sisters will hear the elders teach things, say things, and you kind of regurgitate it. But what I like to do is I like to give you brothers and sisters the tools to be able to use so that you can be that much more confident and have that much more faith that what you're dealing with is the truth. And we're not just talking. Like we could demonstrate what it is we're saying. What is our motto, brothers and sisters? Demonstration beats what? Demonstration beats what? Demonstration beats conversation. It's important. Okay. So I touched on the Russian icons in the academy last week. I want to touch on it with you, brothers and sisters. It's a very, very important point in history for a lot of reasons. I won't bore you to death with all the reasons, but it's very important for a lot of reasons, some of which we're going to touch on today. And you brothers and sisters that are not familiar with this information are going to see information that you may have never seen before. I know when I first saw the information, my head exploded. Like I would have had no idea, being in the world, that black people rule Russia. What? You crazy, Negro. You crazy. I remember, I'm going to go in the time capsule just for a second. I remember when I first came into the truth, right? My second class was High Priest Yeshaya, Friday nights. Yeshaya was the history guy, right? And, when I first came into my first class, I liked the school and everything, but I wasn't still convinced the first time I came to class. I was a 5%er at that time. Y'all know my story, but I ain't going to go into that. I was still a 5%er at that time, but I liked the militancy of the brothers. So after I went to my first class, which was on Monday night, I went to my second class, which was on a Friday night. That's where I met Bun Lawyer. That's another story for another time. That's where I met Bun Lawyer. Bun Lawyer was the guy that was the first. Yeshaya's Friday night class was like, if you ever go to a club, right? You have a line down the block. So somebody's driving down the block. They want to know, why is there a line down the block? What's going on over there? That's how Yeshaya's class was. Yeshaya's class, after a long week of catching hell from the system or whatever, everybody in the school would converge on Yeshaya's class on Friday night because Yeshaya was very funny. It was like an uptown comedy club. The dude was mad funny, and he was also really good with the history. And that's why I met Bun Lawyer. And that was my second class, right? When I got to the class, Bun Lawyer would stand outside the school. That's neither here nor there. That's another time. So when I went to that class, Yeshaya was up on the platform, and he was saying stuff like what I'm going to with you brothers now. And I'm like, no way, right? He was saying stuff like what I'm about to show you, like we ruled Russia. You know why I kept going to the school at that time? Because I'm like, he got to prove that. That's crazy, right? When they started proving it, that's what hooked me. I'm like, wow, there's a lot. That's what Kyrie was talking about. There's a lot of stuff that's hidden that they don't want you to know, right? I'm going to give you guys some examples. Let's go. I want you guys to be familiarized with a term called private collections. You probably have heard the term and didn't put two and two together. There's a lot of people across the world that are millionaires and billionaires. They have private art collections. A lot of times they go and they purchase certain iconography, pictures, icons, whatever, and they have them in private collections to hide information. Just know that. Especially in Western Europe. A lot of that stuff that you see in the British Museum and in the different palaces, Buckingham Palace, a lot of those Felbrigg Hall, a lot of those icons are fake. The real icons are hidden in private collections, but some of the information trickles out. We have it. Anyway, so a lot of art remains in private collections, and what they do is they remove the dark images, right? And also, When the Soviets came into power in Russia, they destroyed a lot of our art too. Because we held on to power in Russia up until the Bolshevik Revolution, which is the late 1800s. And then when the Russians came, the Soviets came into power, they did what their counterparts in Western Europe had done like 400 years before. They started destroying our art. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 64, verse 8. We all know the scripture. It says, so they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away. Let's get right into the presentation. It's a lot to go over, and I have less than an hour. Let's go.
Icons dating back to the 14th.
Let's stop right there. Just look at the screen. Those are the Russian icons. Every last one of them are black. Every last one. How do, and everybody should have been asking themselves this question, how in the blue blazes do you have a place like Russia? When you think of Russia, you think of white people for the most part nowadays. How in the hell do you have all this black iconography of the patron saints of the Bible in Russia where you see number white people? How is that possible? Did white people paint that stuff? You gotta ask yourself that.
Century brought together from private collections across.
Now I talked and I had y'all miss that because he mentioned the private collections. In other words, they've been hiding this stuff, but then they had like where all the private collectors brought their artwork together. Now, before I go back to the beginning, just look at the wall. Every icon is supposed to be Mary and Christ right there. It's supposed to be Mary and Christ right there, right? And you have all the different kings of Israel. I believe that's like David and Solomon right there. As you go around, guys, every icon on the wall is black. This is all in private collections, translations. People own these and they hide them. Let's go back to the beginning. My bad. I talked over the video. Let's go back.
Icons dating back to the 14th century brought together from private collections across Russia.
It's very beautiful. It gives you goosebumps.
Stop right there. Does anybody know who this guy is in the background? That's St. George the Dragon Slayer. Black. Right? That's the Archangel Michael. Black. Look at all the black iconography behind this white guy. Look at it. Look at it.
It's a remarkable exhibition.
It's an exhibition which feeds the senses. Everything is so gray outside at the moment, and here suddenly it's a feast for the eyes.
And it's a feast that marks 100 years since religious icons started to be recognized as works of art. Before then, they were mainly viewed as religious objects, often left blackened over the centuries by the passage of time and added layers of paint.
When we learned how to remove the dark layers, we discovered underneath an overwhelming
Look at that. Look at that. That's Mary holding the baby Christ, right? These are the Magi's that came to, that you read about in, what is it, Matthew chapter 2? Everybody in this image is black. Everybody. So again, you have to ask yourself, how does black icons end up in Russia with all these white folks? How is that possible?
To such an extent that it shocked Andrei Matisse, who was in Moscow.
This is the stuff Kyrie is talking about that they want to hide.
At the time, he said, it's here that artists should come to learn to paint, not to Italy.
But today, only a small number of these masterpieces remain. Most were destroyed during the Soviet era.
Did you hear that? Most of the, I got to go back, sorry. Most of the icons were destroyed during the Soviet era. When the Soviets came into power, they started destroying our art, but they weren't able to destroy everything. The Most High had a certain remnant remain.
A small number of these masterpieces remain. Most were destroyed during the Soviet era.
These icons are the survivors. If museums hadn't saved them, they wouldn't exist today. There are 50,000 icons in Russian museums. Before, there were millions.
But now the future of this part of Russian heritage is up for debate. Are the icons best held by museums, or should they be returned to the country's churches?
Stop right there. Who is that? That's Joseph with an afro. Black. Look at the whites of his eyes. That's Christ. Look at the white swaddling clothes, and that's Mary. And look at the head wrap. Black people. The Russian icons. Okay. So now, how many of you guys are familiar with a guy by the name of Ivan the Terrible, right? Ivan the Terrible. Now, this source is from the Encyclopedia Britannica. That's the image of Ivan the Terrible. Now, it's kind of cut off, but you could clearly see that this is a brother. He has an afro and all of that. It's a brother. Melanated. Compare his complexion to what this is called a stole. Some people call it a scarf, but it's called a stole. It's white right here. Compare that to his complexion, and he has an afro and all that. But I really don't want to stay here. I want to keep going, right? Now, This is a book I have. Pay attention. Stay with me now. This is going to be new for a lot of people. Pay attention. This is a book I have called The Rise of Russia. This is put together by Time Life Books. So you have Time Magazine, which is a prestigious magazine that's still around today, right? Every year, Time Magazine does their Man of the Year, whatever like that. It's a prestigious magazine still around today. A pretty reputable source, according to this society. And you have another magazine called Life Magazine. I believe Life Magazine is still around today as well. Well, Time Magazine and Life Magazine got together and put together a series of books that they put out, right? This is one of the books. The book is called The Rise of Russia, right? This is on page 128. Look at this guy right here. This is a black guy. Is there any doubt? You see his hair? This is a black guy. This guy ruled from 1584 to 1598. This is after the Renaissance. The Renaissance started in 1453 approximately. This is more than 100 years later. The difference is this is Eastern Europe and the Renaissance was taking place in Western Europe. I'm going somewhere. Just stay with me. Let's see who this black guy is that ruled Russia. What does it say right here? It says a feeble-minded czar, Fedor, inherited the unrest stirred up by his father. Who? Who's his father? What does that say right there? Ivan the Terrible. It's a black guy. See, our whole life we thought these were white people. No. And Time Magazine knows that. And they put it in a book. And didn't expect Negroes to find it. But we found it. How do you guys think black icons got in Russia? You just saw that whole thing right there with all the black. How do you think black iconography got there? Because black people were ruling. This is what they've been hiding. This is why they don't want somebody with 4 million Twitter followers or 35 million Twitter followers to get a hold of this information and disseminate it. We got to shut them down now before they start talking like that crazy guy, you know what I'm saying, from Lines of Israel and gives all this information away. We got to shut that down now. Yeah, black people rule Russia. That's right. They've been lying. That image comes from this image, right? This is the original image. Let's come back. Now, I'm going to show you something. Stay with me. I may not make it through this whole presentation, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to take my time so that understanding is understood, right? This is in a book put together by Life Magazine and Time Magazine on page 128. I have this book. You guys can get this book. Excuse me. You can get this book on Amazon.com. Now, of course, if everybody goes to get it, guess what's going to happen to the price? It's going to go through the roof. I paid like $5 for this book, you know, back in the days. So now watch this. I'm gonna show you guys something. Pay attention. So now we have an argument. We have an argument, right? That black image right here in black. Notice they put the image in black and white. Like we wasn't gonna see the dude has woolly hair. Like we wasn't gonna see that. Well, then we found the real image, right? The real image is located at the Moscow State Museum. It's still there. Here he is, black man. You guys see that? You guys see that? You know what the devil did when the Russians came into power? Do you know what the devil did? Look to your right. What did they do? They painted him white. You guys see that? Do you see it? Now, you might ask yourself, I do see he's black. And I do see a white one too. Which one is real? Well, the answer is Time Magazine says the black one is real. That's what they say. Not what I say. But that's what Time Magazine says. They have a choice between using the white one and the black one, and they use the black one because that's the real one. Everybody see that? This is what they've been hiding. Now you brothers and sisters have a small window into how them black icons got there anyway. This is important, brothers and sisters, because at the time that these black guys were ruling Russia periodically throughout the Russian history, when we would get rule and get control, you know what was happening in Western Europe? Your Renaissance. But we still had control of Russia, so the icons remained being painted black. That's the point. Most I know what he's doing. Let's keep going. There's more. There's more. This is the Father, right? And this is the Son. Let's keep going, though. Now, when you do an image search for Ivan the Terrible, I want you guys to notice that I did a Google image search, and I want you guys to see what I searched, how I study. I did a Google image search. All the images of him that they have from Icon, look at it. These are all black, with the exception of 1, 2. These are fake. These are the fakes. All the rest of the images are of him being melanated. All of them. You see this little guy right here? See this little guy right here? This is another one of his sons. He's black too. This guy's name is Dmitri. It's another one of Ivan's sons. You have Fedor, this black guy right here. And when you do research, you have this guy right. If you do the same, look, I even showed you what I searched. Russian icon, Ivan the Terrible, right there. Same, you can do the same search. And when you click on this image that comes up right here, you're going to find out this is Ivan's son too. His name is Dmitri. Matter of fact, you know what? You know what? You know what? Let's do it. Right? Okay. See? Danyaahla. See this guy right here? Let's blow it up. Who's that? It's a black guy. Who is this? This is Dmitri. That's another one of his sons. Dmitri, right here. Dmitri. So we have Fedor. Now we have Dmitri. Look. Let's go down. Let's go down. Black guy with an afro and everything. Black. You guys see that? Okay. Just so you know that I didn't lie. I'll come back to the presentation. Let's keep going. Now, this guy right here, Ivan the Terrible, commanded a cathedral to be built called St. Basil's Cathedral. This was built from 1554 to 1561. Same time your Renaissance was going on in Western Europe. This is what's happening in the east of Europe. You have this guy commissioning this colorful museum to be built. I'm not museum, sorry, this colorful cathedral or church to be built in commemoration of a guy by the name of St. Basil. Who's that? Who's that? Well, let's do this first. Let's do this first because, you know, we got to cover all the bases. All the bases. Let's do this first. St. Basil's Cathedral is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Why is that important? What does that have to do with anything, brother? Well, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you. Let's go. What is a UNESCO World Heritage Site? Let's read what Wikipedia tells us. It says, a World Heritage Site is a landmark or area with legal protection by an international convention administered by the United States Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, also designated by UNESCO for having cultural, historical, and scientific or other forms of significance. These sites are judged to contain cultural and natural heritage around the world considered to be of outstanding value to humanity. So St. Basil's Cathedral, the reason why it is on the UNESCO World Heritage Site is because it is of outstanding value to humanity. See, UNESCO World Heritage Site, St. Basil's Cathedral. It is considered to be of outstanding value to humanity. And it was commissioned to be built by Ivan the Terrible, a black guy with 2 black sons, Fedor and Dmitri. Okay. Oh, wow. What do we have here? Brothers and sisters, that's St. Basil. See it? St. Basil the Great. That's him right there. Where did we get this from? We got this from the white man. The white man's telling. Because you don't expect Negroes to find this stuff, right? This is from a website called the Anglican Foundation of Canada, right? And they have a scholarship that they created in commemoration of St. Basil, this guy, whose cathedral was built by Ivan the Terrible. And when they put St. Basil, his image up, they put a black guy with an afro. Look at the afro. look at the face, look at the hands, and then look at the shawl. Black. This is what's happening in Russia as your Renaissance in the West is going on, where they're whitewashing everything, but in the East, it's still black. Why is this important? Because the Most High preserved this information for us today. And guess what? This stuff is older. When you look at some of the older Russian icons, this stuff is older than Renaissance art. The oldest art is black. That's the point of me going through this. The oldest iconography of the people of the Bible is black. It goes before the Renaissance, before. That's the significance of the Russian icons. It's older. What is the Cathedral of Annunciation? And why does that matter? What is that? Why does that matter? Well, the Cathedral of Annunciation was built by architects from Pskov in 1484 to 1489 as part of Ivan III's plan for a large renovation of the Moscow Kremlin. So this cathedral, this is called the Annunciation Cathedral of the Moscow Kremlin, right? Why are you going into this, priest? Okay, well, let me show you why. So this is a book I have. The book I have is called The Annunciation Cathedral of the Moscow Kremlin. By the way, if you look at the front of the book, what do you guys see? This is the angel Gabriel. This in iconography, brothers and sisters, is called the Annunciation. What's the Annunciation? When the angel came to Mary and told her that she was going to bring forth Christ. That's called the Annunciation. The Bible doesn't call it the Annunciation, but this is where it comes from. It's usually called that by scholars. So this is the Annunciation. You see the angel Gabriel here, right? And this is Mary, and both of them on the cover of the book are black, right? When you open the book, and I have this book, and this book is kind of expensive. Last I looked, this book is like, I want to say $200, although when I got my copy in the 90s, I don't think I paid more than about maybe $25 for it. But when you look inside the book at plate number 125, guess who? St. Basil, black again. So there's an icon of St. Basil in the Annunciation Cathedral, and he's black. And Ivan the Terrible had a cathedral built for this black man. That's how you got black iconography in Russia. You had black patron saints and black czars and cathedrals built in their commemoration, and thus you have black artwork. It's not that hard. You just have to know where to look. That's why your man Kyrie said he had a lot of time to do a lot of studying. Yeah, and he found a lot of stuff. And I'm certain some Israelite teachers somewhere, whomever they may be, he'd been watching, and they definitely contributed to his search. And he freaking swallowed that red pill. And now he can't unsee what he sees. Once you see this stuff, you can't unsee it. Look at what we have here. When you go inside the Annunciation Cathedral, all the iconography is black, with the exception of this crap right here, which might have been added later. I don't know. So I'm not gonna speculate. You know what I'm saying? They do renovation, so it might have been added later. But look all around. Right there, brothers and sisters, that's King Solomon right there. Black. Look at the crown on his head and then look at the face. Right? All the iconography all around the walls, everybody's black. This is in the Annunciation Cathedral. This stuff was being painted same time you have your Renaissance going on. Same time. When was the Annunciation Cathedral built? Let's go back. 1484 to 1489. The Renaissance started about 1453. So this is in the same time period. At the same time, this place was being built, and they housed this black image of this black patron saint, and have this ceiling with and the pillars with all this black iconography. At the same time, you have your Renaissance where everything is being painted white in the West. And then you have this place right here. Everybody on the wall is black. Everybody. The archangels, Mary, everybody. Black. Inside the cathedral. Look right here. Look right here. Everywhere. How is this possible? Because you have black czars and black patron saints. That's why. Now, this is important to know because most people don't know this. The reason why you still have a lot of the black iconography in Russia today is a very, very important reason. Let's read it. This is from Oxford Bibliographies. We're just going to read the highlighted portion so we can make understanding understood. This is what it says. It says, despite these links to the historical process in the West, the Renaissance era is not a category of periodization in Russian history. Translation, there was no Renaissance in Russia. Not really. Not until the Soviets come into power like 400 or 500 years after the Renaissance started in the West. There was no Renaissance in Russia like that. You still have black czars going into the 15 and 1600s still. So you still have black iconography being painted still. There was no Renaissance. That's important. The Most High allowed that stuff to be preserved for us. Because now, when they say, well, you black Israelites make everybody black. No, you don't got to argue. We ain't got to argue with you. You got to argue with this. I'm not going to argue with you. I want you to argue with that. That's what you argue with. Explain it. Who made these black? Anyway, despite the links to the historical process in the West, the Renaissance era is not a category of periodization in Russian history, largely because Russia did not experience the Renaissance, nor, of course, the Protestant Reformation, even if it did borrow the political, cultural, and even religious styles. So Russia did not experience the Renaissance. I've always told people that, but as we say, demonstration beats conversation. The reason why the icons are black, I'm giving you guys the answer, the cheat code and the answers to when people come up to you guys and ask you questions, whether it be on Clubhouse, whether it be at camp. Why is the icons of Russia still black if the ones in, the west of Europe are white? It's because there was no Renaissance in Russia. That's why. Now everybody knows. Most High did that on purpose. Well, praise to the Most High for that. Let's go. This is another book I have. It's called the Russian Review, Volume 2. It was written in 1942. And it pretty much says the same thing. There was no Renaissance in Russia. Won't waste your time with that. Who is Vladimir of Kiev? Who's that? Who is Vladimir of Kiev? Because remember, all that stuff I was showing you guys, that was in the 14 and 1500s, right? The Ivan the Terrible, his sons, Fedor and Dmitri, Ivan III building the Cathedral of Annunciation in late 1400s. All that is around that area. What about before that? Because that's really during the Renaissance period. But I made a statement. I said the icons were black before the Renaissance. The Russian icons are older. That's what I said. Now you got to prove it, right? Okay. Who's Vladimir of Kiev? He ruled from 11th of June, 980 to July 15, 1015. Last I checked, that's, I want to say, 400 plus years before the Renaissance. Am I right? My math good? Like 400 plus years before the Renaissance. What was going on in Russia then? Interesting. Let's see. Right? I just want to read the first couple of lines of this. I'm not going to get too deep into this right now because, again, time is escaping me. I have less than a half an hour, so I just want to get right through this. So again, who is Vladimir of Kiev, right? Why is that important? Well, this is from the Guggenheim. Let's read what they say. Once I remove myself from the equation, people are left to argue with information, not me. That's why it's very important to me to demonstrate things. That's why you guys see my lessons, most of them are PowerPoints, because I'm tired of arguing with people. You got to argue with the information. Let me show you where I got it. Argue. So it's a history of the Russian icon. Painting tells the story of the Russian people and their search for and adoption of religion. The story begins long ago under the reign of Vladimir, Prince of Kiev, 988 AD. So that's what I really wanted, right? This is around the history of the Russian icon starts around 988 AD. That's the point I want. Remember, He came into power in 980. But the history of the icon starts around 988 AD. That's when he started commissioning painters to start painting these images and these icons. It was Vladimir the Great that did that. And this is happening 400 plus years before the Renaissance, before it. So now let's look at this. This is Vladimir with his sons Boris and Gleb, and this is at the Tretyakov Gallery. I meant to fix that from Sunday. I did not. I spelled gallery the wrong way. That's okay. Somebody will be like, the nigga can't spell. Nigga can't spell. This is from the Tretyakov Gallery, right? This is Vladimir. You guys can see. Look at him first, right? This dude has an afro. Compare his complexion, his afro, and then look at the crown he's wearing above his head. That's a black guy, right? Now look at his hand right down here. He's holding something right here. And look at his other hand right here. It's a black guy. This is the guy that brought icon painting to Russia, and they painted him as a black guy. Now, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and tell you that over time, they haven't tried to touch these images up, but you can clearly see, if you have a little bit of discernment, this is a black guy. And his two sons are black too. Look at their hands. Look at their hands. Look at their complexion compared to the trimmings of their garments and their shoes, the gold trimmings. These are black people. But if that's not enough, right, the Bible says 2 witnesses. Here's another image of them with scenes from their life, and it's the same freaking thing. 400 plus years before the Renaissance. 400 plus years. And the guy that brought the icon painting to Russia, they depict him as a melanated brown guy with an afro. Look at this guy compared to his crown. Come on, what are we talking about? And his 2 sons. Two witnesses, right? But the Bible says 2 or 3. Every time they paint these guys, they paint them as being brown, melanated. Every single time, because they were. Look at these people and then look at the crown. That's the guy that brought icon painting to Russia and made it popular. That's how your black icons get there. That's how they get there. And then the Most High made it so that they ruled way beyond when we lost Western Europe, when the Moors fell, right? And we started losing our stronghold in Western Europe. When that was going on, we still had the East. And we were still churning out iconography and everything from the time of Vladimir all the way through the Renaissance. And that's why that iconography still exists. That's how it got there. And it's older. That's the point. This is the Battle of Yaroslav, right? So the Black Russians were having wars with the Mongols and the Tartars, right? And so you had, I'm not really going to do a whole bunch of reading right now. You had 2 competing factions that came together to fight against the Mongols and the Tartars in 1238, right? Look at this right here. This is the army on one side. This is where the term knights in shining armor comes from. These guys are all wearing armor, and every face under the armor face, right? And then come all the way down and look at the legs on the horses. Look at the legs on the horses and look at their faces. This is from 1238. Prince Vsevolod of Yaroslav. Black people. And look at their king, a black guy with a golden crown, a black guy. You guys see that? And then look at the competing army over here. Same thing. Look at their armor and then look at their faces. And compare their faces to this white horse down here. What do you see? Everybody in this image from 1238 AD is black. Everybody. This is in Russia. That's how that black stuff gets there. Because we were there. All right. me 1 second. So what I need for you guys to do for a second is, you guys already know how I like to do. I want to make sure that understanding is understood. So I want you guys, if the lesson made sense, I need for you guys to put 1 in the chat and let me know the lesson made sense. Can y'all do that for me, please? If the lesson made sense, I want you guys to put 1 in the chat and let me know. All right. I still have 20 minutes. I'm trying to decide if I should give y'all more. Y'all don't want no more, right? Y'all was like, that's enough, nigga. That's enough. You guys don't really want no more. Oh, no, that's not what I wanted. That's not what I wanted. See if I can give me a. All right, so I'm looking at the chat. Sorry, guys, I'm trying to look at something really quickly. Let me come back over here and see what y'all talking about. The heck are y'all talking about? Somebody said more. Okay, I'm on the clock. I got 15. No, let me see. I got 15 minutes because I'm gonna end it at 55. Okay, you guys said more. You guys said more. Okay. This is how we. Hey, just so y'all know, not to be funny. This is how we give it up in the academy. Shout out to the academy, man. We go all the way in, and this is just the tip of the iceberg. We go all the way in the academy. Let me see something. Let's do this. Let's start right here. Okay, let's start right here. I'll show y'all something. Goodness gracious, I shouldn't have closed that PowerPoint. Don't mind your brother, y'all. Don't mind me. I'm off. I need to repent and believe the gospel. I'm off. If I'm gonna show y'all this, I gotta show you this too. All right, let me see. Where's my guy at? Right here. Boom. I'm gonna blow y'all mind right now. Watch this. I'm gonna blow y'all mind right now. Watch this. All right. Got a ton of windows open that I don't need to have open. Let's see. I'm confusing myself. All right, here we go. Don't mind me, man. It's gonna be all right. Y'all said keep going. I got a couple minutes. Let's keep going. Okay, so not going to give you guys this whole PowerPoint, but I'm going to start here. Watch. I'm going to show y'all something, blow your mind. Maybe I won't blow your mind. Maybe it's not. I find this interesting. I'm just weird like that, I guess, right? Watch this. Esau is the devil. Everybody knows about this book, right? You guys have all seen this image. I'm giving everybody some homework now. I'm going to see who's been paying attention. I can't see the chat, but I'm going to see who's been paying attention. Everybody's heard about the Russian Icons book. You guys have all seen this picture before. Right? Okay, I got a question. Homework time. I got a question. This black guy in the background right here, the long beard, who's that? Put it in the chat. Who's that? I just went over it. Who is that? I'm not looking at the chat. I'm going to give y'all a second. I just went over it. Who's that? Okay. Since I don't have time to waste, let me help y'all out. That's St. Basil. See? Look at this right here. Look at this. I'll call it a shawl. Look at the shawl that he's wearing. Do you guys see the pattern? And he has the halo over his head. You guys see the pattern, right? Now, what these Edomites do is they go in and they do what's called restoration of icons, which is off. I'm not even going to get into that today. They call themselves restoring a lot of the icons, and sometimes they destroy it. Sometimes they whitewash it. That's what they do. But they restore the icons. But I want you guys to train your eyes to look at certain things. Look at the pattern on the garment. Did I see it? The long beard, the afro, and everything. Let's come back out. Let's come back over here. You guys see it now? See it? Same guy. Same Basil. It's the same guy. Let's keep going. Now, this is the book of John, 1 John chapter 2, verse 21. I have not written unto you because you know not the truth, but because you know it, and that no lies of the truth. No lies of the truth. So somebody came to the website Quora and asked the question, why are the Russian icons paintings of black people? Because their mind was blown. Like, it can't be. I want you to look at the answer somebody gave. Watch this. Look what somebody said. There are two reasons that a saint in a Russian icon would look black. One is that the icon is old. So that's the first excuse. The icon got old, so it turned black, which is stupid. But let's keep going, right? One is that the icon is old. And the second is that after years of candle and incense smoke, which is the case above with the icon above. Now, I want you guys to look at this, right? Look right here. They start to darken. So here it is. You have a priest, right? And he's burning some type of incense or something. Plus, there's candles burning in there. So what the priest is saying is, he's saying that because they do this, they burn the candles and the incense inside the churches. This is why the icons turn black. The problem is, in the very same article, you have this guy right here. Everybody knows that this is St. Nicholas. This is St. Nicholas. So what they're telling us, brothers and sisters, this is what they're telling us. They're telling us that when they burn candles and they burn incense in these churches and the icons turn black, it only turns the face and the hands black, but the stole or shawl he's wearing still stays white. So the smoke and the incense and the candles magically avoid the stole, which is the scarf that he has on is called a stole, and the shawl he's wearing. It magically avoids that. The candles and the incense don't darken the stole or the shawl. No, 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 no. Only the face and the hands. How stupid do they think we are? And that flies with our people that don't know history. But we just learned and we just saw, no, they were black czars of Russia. That's where his black icons come from. That's why. We just saw that. Anyway. Okay. Here's another guy. Whole different guy that I showed you guys before. Another czar from Russia. His name is Theodore the Black. Anybody listening to me can go to Google and type in Theodore the Black in Russia and watch what comes up for you guys. A whole bunch of icons, all of them black. All of them. The early ones, anyway. The more modern ones, of course, they whitewash them, but the older ones are black. He's called Theodore the Black. The same way that Simon Peter in Acts 13 was called Niger, because these are black people. Yeah. At the Yaroslav Museum, there's an icon of Theodore the Black, the guy we just saw, and his two sons, David and Constance. This is at the Yaroslav Museum. I'm telling you guys where you can find this stuff at. Here's Theodore, right? Black. There's his sons, David and Constance, black. And they come to go to war with this black king and his wife right there. Do you guys see that? Uh-oh. Somebody's saying they can't see it. Am I not sharing it? I'm not sharing it. I'm wilding. Wait a minute. You guys said you guys could see it. Let me stop sharing for a second. I'm running out of time. Hold on now. If you guys can see it, put one in the chat. Let me know. I don't want you guys to miss this. So if you guys were able to see it, put one in the chat. I want to make sure. I got a text from somebody that said they couldn't see it. Well, you guys did see it. Okay. Let's go back. I'm running out of time. Let's go back. It's okay. I appreciate the help, y'all. I appreciate the help. It's okay. I appreciate that. I'd rather you guys tell me that so I can fix it than for me not to fix it. All right. So let's come back. Okay. So we were right here, right? Mm-hmm. This is in the Yaroslav Museum. You notice that this is a black king, black, and his wife. Look at her face. And Most High is good. When these guys painted it, the contrast in colors make it clear that we're not making it up. Look at her face and then look at her scarf she's wearing. Look at it. It's a black woman and a black man. Black kings of queen in Russia, and then a black king right here and a prince. They were getting ready to go to war. Black. That's how the black icons get there. We don't have to make nothing up. You guys already saw this. Fedor, son of Ivan the Terrible. You guys already saw that, right? You guys already saw that. What else? What else do I want to show you guys? There might be something else in this PowerPoint that I didn't. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, let's do this real quick. Okay. 3 more slides real quick. You guys are familiar with the catacombs. I'm not going to go. If you're not familiar with the catacombs, another day, another time. That's underground places where the Israelites that were Christians in Rome, they would go to meet, places like that, bury their dead, have their ceremonies and feasts, which were outlawed in Rome. And this is an icon of Christ in between Peter and Paul. The icons that are on the walls, after a while, Esau went in there and messed it up, but you can still see that these are black. If you look at their garments compared to their hands, especially this guy's hand right here, you can see that these are black people. You know what I'm saying? Whether it be time or whether it be them going in there and messing with it or a combination of both, we could clearly see and look at the people underneath them. Black. We see that, right? This is in the same catacomb. This is the story of Jonah. Jonah being thrown off the ship. Everybody in this image is black. You know, these catacombs go back to the 300s. These catacombs go back to the 300s. That's at least 1,100 years before the Renaissance. And the iconography of the Bible people in the catacombs is black. It's like 1,100 years. The Renaissance started in 1453. These catacombs are like from the 200s and the 300s. That's like 1,100 years before the Renaissance. This is what Kyrie was talking about. It's what he'd been reading and studying. There's a temple or a synagogue called Beit Alpha. Beit Alpha. And on the floor of that synagogue is an icon or image of the sacrifice of Isaac by Abraham. Right? This is it right here on the floor. Everybody in this image is black. Let's come closer. Boom. Look at their garments and look at the face, look at the afros and everything. Everybody here is black. This is pre-Renaissance art. Pre-Renaissance. So the point that I'm trying to make, or I've been trying to make to everybody, is this is what they're afraid of, and this is why they have to silence brothers like Kyrie, brothers like Kanye, and anybody that has like a large platform. They have to silence them, because if this stuff gets out, it's over for them already, right? Real quick, let's get a scripture real quick. Let me not stop sharing. Let me come over here real quick. I want to end it off with a quick scripture if I could. Let's go to Bible Gateway. Next, yeah, I'll do that next time, Mark. They saying I should show them the VARNA. I'll do that next time, King, because I'm like 8 minutes away from having to end the class because I got to let Corey and Dom go. Let's get 2 Thessalonians chapter 4 real quick. 2 Thessalonians. Let's do that. Okay. Oops. Why won't it? I don't know why it wouldn't come up. Anyway, whatever. Oh, it's 2. Why was I putting in 4? I'm bugging. All right. I want to read 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. I'm just going to read verses 6 and 7. And now you know what withholdeth, that he might be revealed in his time. Who is the he? The man of perdition. He's going to be revealed in his time. It was already at work during Paul's time, but it's being revealed in our time now more than ever. For the mystery of iniquity doth already work. Only he who now letteth will let until he be taken out the way. The Most High is allowing them to rule and go into perdition until the Most High sends his son Christ to take them out the way. Here's the point. And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth. What is the spirit of the Most High's mouth? The truth. The truth coming out. It's consuming these devils. That's why they're shutting Kyrie and Kanye and everybody else down and want to shut us down too. This truth is consuming their society. The more of our people that wake up is the short of a time that they have, and they know it. Whom the Lord will destroy with the spirit of his mouth. That's us teaching. That's how people are able to have access to these the truth. Us making videos, everything that we do, movies, whatever, documentaries, whatever. It's consuming them. And then after that's done and the elect is sealed, and the Lord shall destroy with the brightness of his coming, because the Lord is going to send his son, and the son is going to destroy it. He's going to put the final smackdown on his place. But we're already doing it with the spirit of the Lord's mouth, which is this truth. We give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, and we do so, of course, in the name of his only begotten Son, Yahweh Shah, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. I love you, brothers and sisters. I appreciate it. We are here every Saturday at 10 a.m. A few brothers and sisters are new to our Sabbath class. We are here every Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on this channel. If you are not subscribed, and you enjoyed the presentation, this is how I give it up every week. PowerPoint presentations, this is how I give it up every week. Subscribe. Make sure you're here 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time every day. Peace and blessings to everybody. Academy, we're in the house tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going into the creation tomorrow. Genesis chapter 1, we're going into the creation tomorrow. Shout out to the Lions of Israel Academy. I appreciate all you brothers and sisters. It's your brother, Priest Danyaahla, representing Lions of Israel, Maccabeestv. If you are watching my video and you have not hit the like button, you need to repent and believe the gospel. And with that, I say,
I made this during the pandemic, y'all.
To unleash the full power of the federal government through this effort today, I am officially declaring a national emergency.
Let's go!
Father in the sky, I shed tears, I don't know why, but I'm a child of the Most High, so they can't break me if they try. Father in the sky, I shed tears, I don't know why, but I'm a child of the Most High, so they can't break me if they try.
The curses, the plagues, is it all a dream? The curfew, the troops, the world's on quarantine. The social, the 6 degrees of separation. The troubles of Jacob, the need for preparation. My vision is focused, I won't speed or rush. And if there's hate in your blood, then you need a flush. Yes, the priest is back, the Most High be praised. I'm making them sick, this song is 5G waves. As real as they come, won't find no fugazi. A man amongst men, so Gail and Oprah hate me. And Jesus had warrants. Paul wrote letters to Corinth. And Esau is red, and Donald Trump is orange. The faces, the gestures, that cat is so comedic. Corona, the virus, the plagues is sent on Egypt. We were slaves, led away to other gods. I ain't preaching shy, I'm killing them with current laws.
Father in the sky, I shed tears, I don't know why, but I'm a child of the Most High, so they can't break me if they try. Father in the sky, I shed tears, I don't know why, but I'm a child of the Most High, so they can't break me if they try.
The riches, the fame, is it all for Skrilla? The mask and the gloves so COVID doesn't kill you. The panic, the fear, the news is so fallacious. The Isley, the brothers, they say it's so contagious. The doctors, the nurses, the need for ventilators. The 1,200 cash they gave to stimulators. The signs and the warnings, don't forget the scriptures. Prevention and cure funded by special interests. Still in the streets, surely. Some say that he's worldly. Flow is sick like why Tekashi got released early. The judges, the lawyers, they say there's no defense. Season 8 Game of Thrones, cause it don't make no sense. And that's the rundown, TV is saturated. The fear is the push to get us vaccinated. We were slaves, led away to other gods. I ain't preaching shy, I'm killing them with current laws.
Father in the sky, I shed tears, I don't know why, but I'm a child of the Most High, so they can't break me if they try. Father in the sky, I shed tears, I don't know why, but I'm a child of the Most High, so they can't break me if they try.